Once upon a time in a lively city of Bendel, where people could greet you in the morning, gossip about your family in the afternoon, and give you advice by evening without feeling bad about it, there lived a woman called Bimpe. Bimpe was a proud village woman, a woman whose presence was as loud as her opinion. She was not the type of woman you would miss in a crowd. If Bimpe entered the place, the room would pause. And if you greet her, be ready to prepare a whole speech because she doesn't just answer, she elaborates every single time. She wears traditional village dress, the kind that sweeps the floor as she walked. And no matter where she went, she made sure her village charm shone through. But it wasn't just her dress that turned heads. Her eyes were often outlined with a bold and long eyeliner. Her voice could be heard over the hum of a busy crowd, and her smile was as wide as the river she came from. Her husband was her ward. His name was Benga, and unlike Bimpe, he was quiet, composed, and liked to keep his life private. Benga had a decent job in a big office in Bendel, a place where business was serious and colleagues dressed in neat suits and ties, speaking to one another in a language of professionalism. Bimpe was a housewife, and like most housewives, she had a routine. Most days, she would stay at home, tending to whatever needed doing. Sometimes she would sit in the corridor of their house, staring out at the world and just thinking. Or she would walk over to Nkem's shop right across from their estate. Nkem ran a small shop, and Bimpe loved visiting her. Why? Well, because Nkem was always happy to listen to her long stories. And Bimpe, oh, she could talk forever. Bimpe doesn't just pass time in Nkem's shop. She made sure it was never quiet. She would talk about anything and everything, whether it was the neighbor's noisy dog, her cousin's latest scandal, or how she thought the weather was acting funny. Nkem doesn't mind. In fact, she secretly enjoyed it. Bimpe had a way of keeping her entertained with all the important news of the village. One day, as Bimpe was recounting the latest gossip about her cousin's runaway chicken, Nkem interrupted. Bimpe, what does your husband actually do at work? What kind of job does he have? Bimpe paused for a second, blinking her eyes. My husband works in an office, Bimpe said. Nkem raised an eyebrow. And where exactly is this office? Do you even know? Bimpe scratched her head, looking a little unsure. Somewhere, Nkem couldn't believe it. She stared at Bimpe. You don't know where your husband works. Bimpe, how can you not know where your husband spends all his time? That is a little odd, don't you think? Bimpe blinked. What do you mean? I know he works hard, and I know he's always busy. That is enough. Nkem looked surprised. Bimpe, she called. A wife should know where her husband works. A wife should know what he is doing with his day. And how can you tell me you don't know where your husband works? That night, Bimpe couldn't sleep. The statement kept ringing like a bell on her ears. How can I not know where my husband works? She felt like something was missing. So she told herself she was going to see Benga's office tomorrow, no matter what. The next morning, as Benga was getting ready for work, straightening his tie in front of the mirror, Bimpe walked in, already fully dressed. But this wasn't just any outfit. She dresses in her village clothes. You know, the ones with bright colors and shapeless. She drew her eye pencil so dramatically, like someone going for village festival. Benga turned, blinking in surprise. Bimpe, why are you dressed already? It's so early. Bimpe stood up, her hands on her hips, and with a serious look on her face, she said, I'm coming with you to your office today. I need to see it. I have a right to know where my husband works. Benga stared at her with her eyes wide open. What? No, now you can't come with me. Bimpe's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? I'm your wife. I deserve to know where you work. You've been going there every day and I've not seen it. That is not right. But you can't just walk in there like that. The office is not like home. It's a very busy place and everyone minds their business. You can't just show up in your village clothes and that eye pencil, Benga said. Bimpe pretended like she was crying. What is wrong with my clothes and my eye pencil? They are part of my beauty routine. I'm going with you, Benga, and nothing will stop me. Benga sighed, realizing he can't continue to argue. Okay, fine, you can come. But just know it's not going to be anything like you think. It's not all fun and games. It's an office. With that, Bimpe straightened up, beaming like she had just won a major victory. I knew you would agree. So Bimpe, as dramatic as she was, followed him to the office, her village dress flowing behind her. When they arrived, she entered the office with the grace of a woman who had never stepped foot in such a place. As soon as she stepped through the glass door, all eyes were on her. Her presence was louder than the air conditioning. The receptionist, a young man named Tunde, blinked in surprise but greeted her politely. Good morning, ma'am. Bimpe did not wait for him to finish his greeting. Good morning, fine man, she said, flashing a wide smile. I am Benga's wife. I have come to see where my husband works. Tunde looked around, unsure of what to do. Ah, you are welcome, ma'am, he said, trying his best to remain polite. Bimpe did not waste any time. She walked in confidently and sat down without asking for permission, settling into the chair as if it was her own throne. Let me see the kind of place my husband is working in, she said loudly, making sure the whole office could hear her. One by one, she greeted the staff, asking questions that did not require answers. What time do you people close? She asked one staff. Do you eat well here? She asked another. Do they pay you well here because you look so thin? She asked another one. The staff looked up and unsure of what to respond. Immediately, Benga went to her and whispered in her ears, Please, Bimpe, you need to go. It's already late. Bimpe, however, was in no rush. Late? Late how? She asked loudly. I came to see where my husband works. If you are embarrassed, then go sit down over there. As the hours passed, the office became less of a workplace and more of an entertainment zone. Bimpe had taken it upon herself to rearrange her husband's desk, touching every paper as if it were her own home. Why is this one there? It should be here. A clean desk brings a clean mind, Bimpe said. Everyone in the office looked at each other. Your wife is very active, one of them said. Yes, that is the way I am. A good wife must make sure everything is in order, Bimpe said. Finally, after 2 hours of causing a stir in the office, Bimpe stood up to leave. Benga was already exhausted at the time, but he had a sinking feeling that this was the only beginning. As they were walking out, Bimpe turned to him. Benga, next time don't forget to tell me before you go to work. I will come whenever I like. The following day, Benga arrived at work hoping for some peace. But of course, peace was not on the agenda for that day. At around midday, the glass door opened again. Benga did not need to look up to know who it was. My people, good afternoon, Bimpe greeted the office loudly. A collective groan ran through the staff as she entered. I came again, Bimpe repeated with pride. Yesterday I came, today I came, tomorrow I will still come. She made herself at home, taking a seat in her usual spot. But it wasn't just her dramatic entrance that caused trouble this time. As she sat and observed the office, she noticed something that made her blood boil. A female staff, Nkechi by name, had come to drop a file on Benga's desk, her eyes lingering just a bit too long. "Excuse me," Bimpe suddenly shouted, rising from her chair and walking over to Nkechi. "What do you think you are doing? Are you trying to eye my husband? What kind of woman are you?" Bimpe continued, her voice loud and commanding. "Coming here to drop files for my husband like you don't know who I am." The whole office went completely still when Bimpe suddenly rushed over to Nkechi, shoving her away from the desk. The staff froze, eyes wide, while some even stood up, trying to step in and calm things down. But it was clear Bimpe wasn't backing off. She was ready to make her point and no one was going to stop her. Before anyone could intervene, the door to the CEO's office opened. Mr. Adebola, the CEO, stepped out. His expression was serious. He had been watching from the sidelines and now he was ready to speak. "Benga," Mr. Adebola called. His voice was calm but firm. "Come to my office now." Benga, looking embarrassed, walked quickly to the CEO's office, his mind racing with what might happen next. As soon as they were inside, Mr. Adebola closed the door behind them. "Benga," he began, "this is becoming an issue. Your wife's visits to the office are creating unnecessary drama. It's affecting the work environment. If you want to continue working here, you need to make sure this doesn't happen again. No more visits from her. Do you understand?" Benga swallowed hard. "Yes, sir," he said quietly. As he returned to the office, the tension was noticeable. The staff avoided eye contact, and Bimpe, still unaware of the consequences of her actions, sat back down with satisfaction. Benga approached her and he whispered, "Bimpe, please, you need to leave now. And please, no more visits here. The CEO is complaining, or do you want me to lose my job?" Bimpe looked at him, surprised but bold. "What do you mean? I was just looking out for you." Benga, exhausted from the emotional toll of the day, did not argue. He simply nodded. From that day, the office was quieter. No more dramatic visits from Bimpe. No more loud interactions. Benga, though relieved, couldn't shake the feeling that his life would never be the same again. The story of Bimpe teaches us that sometimes love can make us do things we wouldn't do normally, but it's important to respect boundaries. While Bimpe's desire to know more about her husband's world came from a place of caring, it also shows that we need to understand when to step back and let our partners have their own space. It's all about balance. At the end of the day, showing love isn't always about being everywhere they are. Sometimes it's about trusting them and giving them room to breathe. Love means respecting each other's individual lives too. Thank you for watching. Bye.